hey, Sean, not technically a live stream tonight. It is Jesse's birthday today, and I figured the least I could do is not sit on YouTube for a length of time talking to 2 or 3 people who happen to be here. So instead, a couple weeks ago, I planned with my buddy Fabien, who's a video producer in Paris, France. We had a conversation sort of comparing and contrasting our different approaches to very similar problems in very different parts of the world, and how he gets from point A to point B compared to my American pickup truck. Well, it's a Nissan, I guess it's Japanese. But my big pickup truck that I load with gear compared to how he gets across Paris. And it's fascinating. Since it's not live, we're not going to be able to answer any questions, but throw any questions you might have in the comments, and I'll be sure that we get to them and answer anything that may come up. Thank you so much for watching and supporting these live streams, and I'm going to enjoy the week off. Enjoy the conversation. See you later. Bye. And
I should look...
There we go.
I should mirror my screen, really. That will look better, like we... because I'm not looking straight at the camera, you see.
Oh, I see.
But I'm
yeah,
sure that would do.
Camera's off to the side. Yeah, this needs not be more complicated than it is. Well, hey, thanks. Thanks, not only for taking the time to chat, but I was trying to think back to how long we've emailed back and forth and like when we first got connected, because it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Maybe I started dropping comments on your YouTube video before I reached actually personally to you when I did that video with how to film yourself at home.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a little while. So it's nice to be on the channel.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. This will be posted on my channel, and most people who watch my channel, because I never shut up, have a good idea of what I do and who I am. But take a minute, tell me who you are, what you do, what your life is like, how you got into production and all this.
Okay, so I got into production right from after my studies. I studied like editing school with a bunch of friends that are still my friends, and some do like great things like Hollywood, and some have just changed job totally. But pretty much I've been doing production, first editing, and then since about 10 years filming as well, doing the whole stuff for a little while now, let's say 24 years. So all my professional life has been doing that. And who am I? Well, I've been living in Paris also for 24 years, since I came here for the studies, and then back in the days, all the TV stuff were here in Paris. I enjoyed my life in Paris so much for such a long time. And now about 25 years later, I'm doing well. The business is going okay. Even if I would say this is more in our couple with my wife, she's doing she's a breadwinner, let's say, and my job has always been like something on the side since we have kids about 12 years ago, so I could take care of the kids and take them to school and stuff. So in that regards, I don't know where to start really, because it's a hard question. You're trying to sum up my life in a few sentences. It's hard.
Yeah, and I have a similar story in that this was my primary income, and it was growing really, really well. 2019 was an amazing year, and then 2020 happened, and in March, I switched into that situation like you, where my primary role became father.
Being a father, okay.
Yeah, because
that's a great role, though.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't be more grateful. I regret the circumstances that have been great to me, but have hurt a lot of people. But with the pandemic, my work slowed down, and it didn't make sense to do childcare, so I started staying home all the time. And now it sort of forced me to be efficient, where I was saying right before we started recording, I mostly edit during nap time and late at night, and occasionally I have a shoot here or there, but my day is spent most of it when my son's awake with him. And it's forced me to be creative with how I manage my projects. And in spite of all of that, last year was my biggest year yet. In spite of working less and having less projects, it was just a whole lot of luck paired with some good management that I stumbled
But probably
into.
professionalism as well, because this is kind of job where you just keep getting better at what you do and stuff. So that's also the normal path to get more and more efficient, and knowing where you go, and having a good a good career path. But all this time you invest. Not like it was all related to money, but all the time you spend with your son is the best time you can offer to him, and there's no way you regret. Maybe later you think like, oh, I could have done even more, that wouldn't have affected my professional life at all. I would be exactly at the same point, except my son will have a nice relationship and good education. So no, as I'm a bit ahead of you into this parenting journey, I can tell this is the best time you can spend is with your children, and then it makes you so proud and stuff. But I have to warn you though, if you do have a second kid, that's going to kill you. The first kid is nothing compared to what having, and some people have 3 kids, like I don't even understand the concept. It's beyond me. So that's that's a good role.
We've got a good thing managed right now. We'll see if we change the game up eventually. So you've done all of your production primarily in Paris. Do you travel much for work? Where does the boundaries of your work extend to?
My boundaries is very simple. Most of my shootings I load all of my gear on my bike, and I just bike there. So everything is like within an hour of bike, also because I love, Paris is a very big city, traffic jam all the time, or especially, so going there with a bike is the only solution I found, and also because I like it. I know I can arrive on time and I can park anywhere. So that's, and also that keeps me. Maybe we'll talk a bit later about my style. But going with a bike, you have to really carefully choose the gear you take with you. And since I'm a loner, like you say, I think, I do everything by myself. The filming, the editing, sometimes with a team, but really not very often. Most of the time I do everything, because this is a niche I kind of found. And so most of my work is corporate work with. Actually, I have a surprise for you, because you think I'm just on the camera, but I'm a professional, right? I can click this button. Oh. Look at that.
Oh la la.
So my office, this is the second camera, maybe I can show you a bit later. My office is actually, I got a view on the Eiffel Tower, and this is not everybody, right? This is live.
Isn't there a rule that you can't show the Eiffel Tower at night due to the
Oh, you're flagged.
Yeah.
That's too late. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sabotage.
Nah. Don't worry, you'll blur it afterwards.
Okay, yeah. Censored. Understand it was a beautiful image. I as you were saying, you fit everything on a bike. I have a lot of questions about that and your setup. But by contrast, and I don't want to make myself sound too American right now, but I'm about to get a different...
I'm trying to be as less French as I can, because I know, all the arrogant stuff, and this is so true. So, when I'm talking too much, just shut up and let's get to the question, because you sent me a bunch of questions, right? We got to go through it.
Yeah. The thing I'm focused on next is I have to get a new truck in April. My lease is up on my truck, and I'm thinking about it.
I'm totally on the opposite of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'm looking at how to get a slightly bigger truck, because the gear I'm bringing is getting, the gear isn't getting bigger, but I'm bringing more of it. And the idea of fitting my kit on a bike is comical.
It's too bad I don't have a picture big, but I want to, if one day I have a website, which I still don't have, I want to fit that like into the, eco-friendly section. Like, I come on a bike, this is 0 carbon emission, at least from the production side.
So
except the computer.
What is your kit? What are you doing? Lights, camera, microphone.
I bring if you give me 5 minutes, I can put the wide angle instead of the Eiffel Tower, and I can just turn on the light, and you can see my little office where I spend most of my time since the 3 previous year.
Yeah, let's see it.
So
we can wait. Yeah, we'll time out.
Everything is going to be a little bit experimental tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, maybe you can edit that out. I don't know if it's the best angle. I don't know if it's a good idea to show you all my gear with the pool lighting and stuff. Anyway, maybe I can just bring things over the camera here, and that will be more fun now. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
So what is your main camera? Do you use one camera? Do you use 2 cameras?
So
actually,
yeah.
What sort of stuff are you shooting? We'll start there. You said you found a niche. I want to hear, before we understand what gear you're using to accomplish it, what sort of things are you shooting?
Yeah, I found a niche. That's true. If I have to talk about my work, I say I have 2 niche. First, I'm a one crew guy, so that means I'm kind of cheap. I'm trying everything to do low cost, like I'm going on a bike. I bring as little things I possibly can. Also, I work with like executives. They don't have much of time, so really they have 15 minutes for you and that's it. So in some kind of way, I'm trying to do not too much to keep I like to do like a lot of projects. And to have them finished quick, and doing a bunch of them with a bunch of clients. This is my style. And the second niche is because I do corporate work. This is just like head talks, and maybe not everybody is interested in doing this kind of work. Everybody's more about like fiction or documentary. But in my role, I did a lot of editing back in my career for like TV and stuff like that. But I thought I would be like a documentary guy, but that never really happened. And when I started to work into corporate work, well, first, I must say I like the people, because in big companies, there is like a long-term relationship that is absolutely not happening in TV. In TV, you might, back in the day when I was editing, maybe some nights of editing, there's so much to do. You finish at 4 o'clock in the morning, you deliver something great, and they don't even remember your name the next day. Mm-hmm. It's like, they don't care at all. Whereas like in corporate work, the first thing I like is, I kind of like the people. And then also it's a niche in the sense that not many people is interested in doing like head talks with the titles. So that's a double niche, which makes that I have had a lot of work since I started my company. Like it keeps coming, and I have no website. This is all word of mouth. Also, I would like maybe work with people from this big company doing like HR stuff, and maybe these people, they exchange companies all the time, but they keep your number. Mm-hmm. So all in all, the work has been coming and coming and coming to a point where I still enjoy my job as a job. I love like grabbing camera, doing some editing, and doing other stuff also, not just for a living, but when I do something like with my friend with a guitar or anything kind of arty, I always love the craft of editing. But I must say, after like 3 years of doing my company, and it just keep coming, and sometimes I don't even like it, I've started to become tired of it, and questioning a lot of things at the moment. But yeah, everything word of mouth, and also spending like, I don't know, days of editing on just subtitling, for example. Mm-hmm. You see, my father role has led to like, I'm not really planning anything. I just keep it as it comes for now. I kind of feel like it's not my full potential. Maybe I'm doing better things in the future. But for now, it's just been like one project after the other, and let's keep it rolling like that.
I've been the same way, where it's just been connection, and this person introduces me to that person, and I was putting so much time into like my LinkedIn account and my Instagram account.
Oh yes, you've talked about that, yeah.
Yeah, and finally I was like, it's all word of mouth. Like, this isn't doing me any good to put time into maintaining all this, and so yeah, I pulled the plug on all that, and it's been just busy enough. I'm not bored and I'm not overwhelmed. I'm with a lot of luck.
You're in that
a sweet spot
where okay, good. Yeah. No, Sean, I must say, let me talk about you as well, because, you said, like, how did we meet and stuff? And I always thought your channel was really interesting, really different.
Thank you.
Kind of niche as well, because you're, like, openly talking about all this stuff. But I don't know, I found something I follow, like, I spend a lot of time on YouTube, because, like, my routine in the morning, usually I don't start working until 10 o'clock, until I've checked. I spend too much time on Twitter also, for example, but I love to see the trends and keep myself, like, open to, but I spend also a lot of time on YouTube, and your channel is quite special, I think, in all this, world of it's a little bit gear, but it's also like live talks and stuff. I always enjoyed it, and
thank you.
Yeah.
I've had, so I put this online on my channel, but there's been two people in my life who have been in production longer than I am, who have been mentors to me, and James McKenzie is one of them, and Dane Iwata is the other. But two of my friends that, without having YouTube channels, basically have given me over time the experience that I try to put out on my channel of not only advice, but also just the reassurance that, like, hey, you're going to stumble sometimes. We all do, and we're going to be okay, and we still get better, and we learn from those things. And like, a lot of the lessons that I've taken and tried to turn into videos to share on my channel are lessons that I've learned from actual, like, face-to-face mentors that I've had. And it's been humbling just to hear people who I revere as, like, wow, look at the work they're doing. Like, these people don't mess up. They're experienced professionals. And they'll be the first to tell you, like, no, we mess up all the time. That's a part of the process. And there were people who helped us and helped us pick what gear we needed to buy. And anytime I have people who ask me personally, especially people that I know, who ask me for gear recommendations or something, like, I'll spend a half an hour or an hour talking about, I mean, I love talking about gear, but I do that because people have done that for me. And I mean, pay it forward is the cliche, but it really is just, I try to share what other people have shared with me, and hopefully we pass that along, and the next generation is even more equipped to do better work, and then remember how nice we were and hire us when they take over.
Excellent. Yeah. Maybe people don't know, but when we first reached out together is when I copied that video of yours, like how to film yourself at home. This is where we actually started exchanging emails. That was fun. That was fun, and I love your reaction, saying, like, no worries, this is all sharing and stuff. And but I think talking about you being an American and stuff, I always saw America was, in terms of digital and YouTube or all the GAFAM or all the big companies, you're always 10 years ahead of Europe. And I think all you do, like the presenting yourself online, and everybody, I don't know, but a lot of channels, a lot of free speech as well, it comes with it. And I don't think we are at this point yet in Europe. But it's funny how I am always inspired by America in terms of, I mean, in my work, you know, I spend so much time on After Effects trying to figure out, like, what's a good layout for the titles and stuff. And I always fall down to videos in English explaining me exactly what I need and stuff. And that always comes from America. It's funny.
It's interesting, and I carry with it some guilt. But, I mean, we're speaking right now in English because I don't speak French. I can do ça va bien, and that's about it. I learned... I studied French for 2 weeks before I went to Burkina Faso, where French is the national language, and then it turns out that no one speaks it there. It's like the airport signs, and then once you're out of the main city, everyone's speaking their own dialects. And so I kicked myself for, I should have learned Boamu or Togo, but instead I learned French, which no one spoke. 2 weeks of French. I did not learn French.
Well, I hope you have some leftovers.
Yes.
Yeah, ça va and ça va bien. Okay.
That's all I need.
Well, bonjour, merci, for anyone who's listening to this and comes to France, you need 3 words, bonjour, merci, et au revoir. If you say that, you'll be treated like, it's no problem, like this is basic politesse.
I suppose I also know l'addition, s'il vous plaît.
Very good.
So I can get out of a restaurant if I need to. But it's interesting. Yeah. With how ubiquitous English is around the world, and like as I got my pilot's license to fly drones, internationally, English is what pilots use. Like around the world, pilots communicate in English regardless of where they're from, and that's interesting to me. But I do carry this guilt that comes with that arrogance of like, well, everyone needs to speak my language, but I hadn't thought about the other side of that of. Because it is, in so many ways, a somewhat universal language, there's a lot of resources for production and for tutorials that default to English, just because, we've got Hollywood.
Yeah, well, the English for my part is the story behind that, because my wife is British. Well, first, when I was 25, I traveled around the world. That was the best year of my life, and then I got comfortable with English through this trip. And then I met my wife, who is British, and that also took me on another level with English, which is actually really like it's a plus for me working with the corporates that sometimes they're American, they speak in English as a business language.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm comfortable with English, and also, of course, it's a huge advantage to follow, all what's happening in the networks and stuff.
Well, let me ask this question: as you say that we're sort of 10 years ahead with some respects in production and maybe our comfort with the camera and things like that. From a business standpoint, I don't know how it is in France, but right now it is tax season in America, and on April 15th, our taxes are due. And in spite of every politician saying that small business is the backbone of America, it is really difficult and really expensive to run and maintain a small business. And as I'm putting together and having to pay somebody thousands of dollars to help file my taxes to make sure that I'm paying enough so that they don't come find me and penalize me. There are some things in production where, we can be lean, we can be nimble with how we produce things, how we find clients, etc. But when it comes to trying to get healthcare and not paying 45% of my wages in taxes to the government, it can be pretty tough to run a small, almost part-time production agency. I wanted to know, in France, is it similar? Are there protections? How easy is it if you wanted to start a production company? How comfortable do you feel with growth and support from the French government?
Well, that's a big question. To start with, I think in France, with Belgium, with a country where there's the highest rate of taxes. So we tax let's say you work the whole year, you work until September for the government, and then the 3 last months is for you. This is because, there's a lot of taxes in France.
Wow.
But how could I say this? I think I have a secret for that, because I'm so cheap in everything. I'm really careful. I'm a pretty tight person, Usually I'm trying like for example, I almost bought the new Mac, but I didn't. And then there's this GH6 coming out, like I pre-order, like, no, you don't need it right now and stuff. And everything I do, I'm trying to be very careful, because I always consider like what I'm not paying or what I give a second thought of. It's less money spent, really. Like I'm going home every lunch, most of them, to just eat the leftovers instead of paying a sandwich for €4. I'm this type of person, so I guess this is how I sustain my business. I have a little expense, so my expenses are this very nice office. It's a little shared office, not too far from my home. But I've been working from home for like 3 years, and I'm not doing that anymore. No way. Yeah, you need a separate space, right?
Yes.
And my other expenses would be like, I have to have an accountant, and I have, what else? It's very few really. And then it comes to gear, and then it's my salary, and that's it. So in the last time, I've been going to shoot videos much less, obviously. Also used to do like events where a lot of people gather. This is not happening anymore.
Yeah.
But with all the race, it just added together, and I could sustain the activity and also, pay myself the normal salary and stuff like that, having a little bit on the side. Even though, I'm not having a great salary, I'm just average into French population. I'm just doing my thing. But the good side is I make my own agenda. If I don't feel good, I come to work at 1 o'clock and it's not a problem. I just pay for it later or work the weekend. Of course, you never have holiday because you bring your laptop with you and you're always working when, there's a day trip. Like, no, I'm just going to finish this. And out of 5 hours, you end up spending 3 hours on YouTube and then doing the stuff in the rush at the last minute.
I think 4 years ago, I was
Sorry, I'm not in focus. What the heck? GH5 focus. You know what I'm talking about. You can't rely on it.
I'm a Sony guy. Our autofocus.
Man. Don't know if I'm focused or... Does it disturb you at all? Oh, I'm back.
No, it's good, yeah.
Look at that.
I was going to say, I was doing that laptop thing where I would just work all the time. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I sold my laptop and bought a desktop, not because I wanted a bigger screen or more power. It was solely so that I had to work at my desk and I could not work anywhere else. And I've stuck to that, and it's made me, it's forced a bit better of that separation between work and life. That work-life balance has been made easier. So you have a big enough
house to have an office, and I saw on your latest videos
my basement studio. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very fortunate that we have the room that we have. As you can see behind me, my office has my computer in the corner.
I never saw that view before. Was that the thing where you were doing the video from the side for a long time?
Yes. So yeah, normally I would look at a camera here, and I'm in this corner.
Right.
This is my television behind me. My couch is over here. But this is like the room where we watch TV and do yoga and everything else. Like, this is the room for everything. Yeah, it's the living room. And I just happen to have a computer in the corner. And it's because I don't... Now that I cleared some space in the basement, I'm not filming up here. I don't shoot anything for clients up here. So all I really need is a little bit of space to put a computer, and that's all the office that I need. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could do that to a certain extent. Of course, you obviously have much more rooms than I have, because another thing with doing production in Paris is that you live in Paris and everything's so tiny here. That's why, I've been here 24 years and I think I have enough. My biggest hope is I can leave this place as soon as possible. That's too much. Maybe we'll get to that. I don't know. What time is it? 33. I don't know. Time is going very fast, but
yes.
That's another side of this. Is I've been enjoying my professional life so far, but I really want to move to something else where I can enjoy also some quality of life. Because everything here is so tiny. We live at 4 people in a 50 square apartment, and you got to. It's hard. It's what was your
50? It's a 50 square meters.
Yeah, 50 square meters is we got 3 rooms total. So the living room and kitchen are connected together. Thankfully, it's a good flat. So, but it's really tiny and everything. And I don't know, you want to walk in the forest because it's Paris, you're going to pay for it. So that's going to be an hour traffic to get there, an hour traffic or an hour and a half on the bad day to come back. It's it's horrible. So I've been enjoying Paris for a lot of time, but I think I'm ready for something else now. So we'll see. We're in a whole reflection with the family and my wife, and what do we do?
Yeah.
I'm ready for something else.
On the American side of things, I have our house is, by my rough math, 150 square meters.
Okay. Oh, you were calculating it.
Yeah, I was having to do the conversion.
3 times the size.
Yeah.
And a garden. Very important, garden.
Yeah.
Barbecue, friends, this is the thing we struggle with at the moment. So we have some friends, we go at weekends, we enjoy all the people places. But we've been struggling with space lately. And hopefully, if we do this interview in 1 year time, the setup will be totally different.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll feel a bit less stressed,
I'm hoping for you. And I, too, would love to have a space where I can put my computer where all my stuff is. Because my basement studio is fantastic, but it's in Fahrenheit 60 degrees down there.
Okay.
I don't know what that is in Celsius, but it's cold.
Hot. Oh, cold. Okay. Cold.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna do my math. 15 degrees Celsius. So
you know what you need? So, improvising, right? Now, in this tiny office of ours that we do, the guy we created the space, and I'm sharing the co-working with, he's got a rig and he's mining Ethereum, and that makes the place so hot. And sometimes in the summer we enter there and it's like a sauna. It's like, come on, man.
That's not a bad idea.
So this is what you need in your
2 birds,
basement.
1 stone.
Yeah, and you'll be earning $10 a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And polluting the earth at the same time. Thank you.
Fine. Now that's an American thing we can get behind.
Yeah. Under the cup.
Yeah. So walk me through your gear now. Like, understanding what you do a little bit. What fits on your bike?
What fits on my bike? I have an... maybe I can get some visuals here, okay?
Okay.
I'll be right back. So gear, I'm a Panasonic guy. I chose this format because it was Micro Four Third, and it was supposed to be smaller. So I've got 2 G8.5. That would be my main camera. And then I need to record some sounds, so I use those things that I love, the Tascam.
Okay, little lav.
Yeah, little lav that people carry, I set it up, I press record, it's recording for 1 hour 30 if it needs, but at least I got the sound, I know like I'm secured. And then the lens, I guess this is my workhorse, like they say on YouTube. The Sigma that I mount on a Metabone sometimes, or sometimes directly with just a connection here.
Mm-hmm.
And that Sigma 12, 18 to 35. Everybody's got this one.
Yeah.
But I've not been very good. I think I need some more very good lens, primes and stuff. Because right now my only good looking lens is still this one. And we're talking about, if you've been following since the beginning, I've been in the business for 24 years.
But I think that shows.
I have only one worthwhile lens, but I managed with it.
I think that shows, though, and it's such a testament to people who think they can't start doing production until they buy 10 different lenses and have, one lens for everything. And it shows you can...
You don't need all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think bottom line is you should always reconsider what you will purchase, because even me, I'm trying to be careful, but I've got like a drone and I use it maybe one time. That was worthless buy. I've got a bunch of stuff that I could resell, but we always tend to buy too much. So I'm really trying to have like, Japanese style, minimal. You don't need that. What's the real value? Always before I want to buy something, I put it on the list and then I think about it a week later. And if I do buy something, I will have been comparing like for hours and like I'm ready for that. So that's why the GH5 thing, at one point, I was ready to sell everything and go Sony, because autofocus or whatever. Look, this is a little piece of gear I've used.
The ATEM?
Yeah, I've used twice so far. But it wasn't that expensive, so, and the twice, it was it. But
I've thought about getting it myself. I haven't yet.
GH5, man, focus.
There you go.
Yeah.
So do you have two GH5s?
Yeah, I have two GH5, but I've always been a Lumix. Before I used to film with terrible stuff. To go back to what you said, I used to film with a Nikon D7000 at first. Quality was terrible, and you can always, but that was back in the day. Maybe it didn't matter too much. Now there's more. People are more. They want some good image and stuff. But in my production journey, what really made a difference is the light. Since I bought a proper light, because I also would typically go back in the day with just like Amazon cheap kit light that I still use sometimes just for backlight or something. But I bought the 120D aperture. So that made a difference because, like, for example, I can film against the window. If I go full blast, I can, get the contrast and not totally miss my shoot. And what else? I don't know.
So when you hop on your bike, you take your camera, two cameras, your lens, your microphone, and you take your aperture.
I take the apertures that I put on the back. I usually have also a big a bunch of like little tripods, Manfrotto.
Yeah.
Or a bigger one just to hold the 120D so it doesn't fall on somebody's head.
Do you have any pictures you could send me so I can put it in later of your bike loaded up with all your stuff?
Well, I need to do that photo. I never did it so far, and unfortunately, I don't know what my next shoot is with all the gear, but I definitely do it. Yeah, I ask somebody like, please take a picture, and then I send you that. Yeah, no problem.
Presque fini, je vais vous prendre dans 2 minutes. And here we go. Going far today. It's gonna be an hour like this. Boulevard Barbès. Beautiful Paris. Oh, oh. Easy. Place de la République. Almost there. Almost there. It's a sightseeing. Oh, hello. I'm pretty slow. Well, I don't have all the gear on. I'm part of the fast cyclists, but when I got all this many kilos, and I can't really go as fast as usual. And so this was all we had packed on our back today. There was this camera with a few screens, the prompter, the computer, and the lights, and the mic, and the stand, and I even have some space to have some spare stuff here, and those little lights, all that on the bike. And this is what it looks like on screen. And as well shown, this I bought thanks to your advice. This is the Producer's Choice sound blanket, and it's good. It's good, heavy but good.
I could take a picture of the pile of gear that I load into
Yeah, the truck, and then do a comparison, like what do you really need? Hashtag. But I think, I've seen some of your production, and I think I'm like one step below you in terms of quality. Like using a bunch of stuff that, even like the beauty, like I said at the beginning, I tend to do like more projects, because that's another frustrating part of my job, I would say. Like I said, I love my job. I love filming, editing. Sometimes I ask myself a question of for who I do it. Of course, that's kind of easy work because people are less regarding with the final end of the product. Sometimes I get away with huge mistakes that you will notice, but nobody cares, when good is good enough. Sometimes if they say yes at mid-project and I saw like, I could have done so much more, like, no, they're happy with it. Like, let's focus on the next one.
The phrase I keep using is, that's not going to be where we lose people. And I think, I could bring 2 more lights and I could, light the background here. Like, no, that's not going to be where we're going to lose people.
No, there's not going to be any difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was I saying? Sorry, I was going somewhere, but I forgot again. So,
well, as you
no
talk
problem.
about having a lot of clients and doing more smaller projects.
Quick work, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For me, I went the opposite, where that's where I used to be, of doing a lot of small projects. And then I got tired of all those relationships just to make the same amount of... After I got lucky and had 2 sort of big gigs and made as much money as I had made from 10 of these smaller gigs, that's what made me start to say, oh, I like doing stuff at this level where it's more expensive and I make more money from less jobs. But
yes,
what I'm experiencing now is I have 3 clients, and only 3 clients. And,
only 3, okay.
And it's making more money than I've made in a long time. But one of my clients hasn't responded to me in 2 months now. And we had one open...
Does he owe you money?
No, and that's the problem. They never owe me money because they always pay on time. They were great, but I just haven't heard from them. And I was telling Jessie, my wife, today, like, I want to reach out to, like, my main contact at the company I just haven't heard from, in spite of sending a few emails and stuff, just have not heard from them. And normally there's like 3 or 4 projects a year with them. And it's been nice to do bigger projects for more money, but it comes with this risk of, if you lose one client, there goes a third of my revenue.
I don't think you lose those ones, because if you had a good relationship and there's no reason, and you keep checking there, and you, I don't know, maybe your main contact is on a maternity leave or something. I don't know.
I don't mean to paint with a broad brush, but I think she's a little old to be on maternity leave, biologically speaking. More likely she retired without telling me.
All right. Okay.
No, but just that concept, like,
no, I see. I think you're right.
There's security
in the sense, like,
in more clients.
I think usually the aim is, I read somewhere, like, you should always aim to increase the quality of what you do. That's always the aim. Try to always do better, and usually you should attract more good business to you. So I think you're right in that sense. It's always good to put more effort in a project that's always going to take you somewhere better, I think. It's true, my style is sometimes I do it because I don't care, because I'm kind of on hold, and let's just do that and focus on other things. Yeah.
It's fun as a business owner to have all the potential of, well, next month this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. Any of these great things could happen. And like you said, in a year from now, who knows what kind of space you're going to be in, and you'd like to be in this sort of space, and it's all possible. And that's an exciting...
I'm not too negative for your audience as well. Sorry, guys. But
no, but that's the exciting part about doing this. And as an artist, as producers, we get to make it all up. We get to make up what we're creating, and then we also get to make up how we create it and what our story is. But sometimes we have a limited amount of control on how quickly we can get to where we want to be.
Absolutely, yes.
It is interesting. No, it is interesting. And I'm fascinated by the contrast between, like, you have this very lean urban setup, and like I'm blown away that you fit everything on a bike, and for 24 years you've got a backpack, a handful of stands, and you've got more work, you've got enough work to keep you working, and that it's inspiring. It's inspiring to see that you've just taken that, like in America, and I feel like a lot of the other people that I know in production in St. Louis where I live, there's people who we're just buying stuff. We're living in debt, and we need more gear so we can do more stuff. But I think it's an immature mistake that a lot of us, especially me, are making.
Yes, there's a limit to that. Yes, absolutely.
I started getting into, for the past month, trying to do some product videos and shooting. I just as a test, I reached out to a friend of mine who works at a brewery, and they gave me some cans of a beer that's coming out, and I was doing just product tests and trying to, put it on green screen and edit stuff and make it look like a fancy product video. And I did a lot with a little bit of gear, but then I found myself very quickly buying more gear just to make this possible, and I quickly racked up quite an invoice, and I have more stuff arriving tomorrow, paper backdrops and stuff like that, just to make things a little bit easier. And so it's cool to see a sustainable career.
A lot of this is also relationship. Maybe we haven't talked yet about this aspect, but I mean, let's say I try to treat my clients very well. It's mostly, I don't know why, but it's mostly women. And, I try to be like really polite, really professional at every shootings. Every email will be like reread a few times. In my little niche of mine, a lot of it is just answering, like you can't afford to leave the client without any news for a week, at least after 3 days. Or I would say actually on the opposite side, I'll try to send as few emails as possible, but really like with a proper, to appear really solid. So that's where I think in my work, to my extent, of course, which is just one guy working for himself, barely making his like all right salary for, an agenda that you decide for your whole week. But all this relationship thing is quite important, and then that you learn also as you do it. There's the work, but the know how to behave with my clients is very important as well, and that's the big secret. Being polite, just answering emails, like I said.
Unfortunately,
it's a personal relationship, and then you get recommended and word of mouth. Like I said, no website. My last demo reel was 2019. Just keep going.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to cut us off. Due to a baby that needs to not be in his crib anymore.
Yeah, go ahead, no problem.
But I want to say to anyone watching this, we're going to continue this conversation and do this again sometime in the next weeks or months. But I think there's something really interesting in what you just said about the relationship and how you behave with a client, because a lot of that is the same, I'm sure, in America. But I'm curious to see if there's cultural differences, because I know as you talk about writing a thoughtful email, I get a lot of emails from clients where it's the subject line is a full email and then the email is blank, and it's just this quick, like they're not signing their name or anything. And I think there's this obsession with brevity and like, I don't have time to write this email. And I think sometimes you need to write that polite, like it needs to be professional and polished.
I mean, that would be like a hello and everything.
Yeah. So next time, I think we should spend some time talking about, I don't know if that's a difference between France and America.
Breakdown and stuff. I mean, when I wait, it goes too fast, but go take care of your kid, and let's continue later.
Fabien, thank you so much for taking the time.
Well, thank you. That was a real pleasure.
And to anyone who watched this, if you have any questions, Fabien, where can they find you?
Where can you find me? I'm on Twitter. That's my network that I like. So it's @_FFAABB.
All right, easy enough, and I'll put that in the description below as well, so it's easier to find.
All right, that was cool. Thank you for this exchange. It was nice to see you.
Yeah,
it was nice to know that you were in St. Louis and we're doing this together. It's amazing.
Indeed, and again, thank you for taking the time, and I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Okay, bye.